Hi, I'm Jack Canfield, author of The Success Principles and co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And I'm here today at the Author Success Retreat that I do with Steve Harrison. And I want to introduce you to one of our attendees, Ligia Houben. And Ligia is a leading grief expert and thanatologist, which is a scientific student of death. And she's also the author of several books on grief, including Allow Me to Live My Grief and Heal from the Inside Out. And through her transformative methodology, Ligia has empowered countless individuals to turn their grief into a journey of personal and spiritual growth. Ligia, you've developed 11 principles of transformation that can help people turn their grief into a journey of personal and spiritual growth. Yet you say you see many people skipping over the second principle of living your grief. Why is allowing ourselves to fully experience grief so important for healing?
Thank you for such an insightful question. Because that's what happens, Jack, that people want to jump over grief. Because we live in a society that doesn't allow us sometimes to grieve. They emphasize the message of it's time to move on. It's time for you to continue the way you were. And the griever feels that they cannot express themselves. So sometimes they have to wear the mask, and sometimes they even want to ignore the grief. They want to put it on the shelf, and they want to continue like if nothing happened. But we know that what we ignore doesn't cease to exist. It is only repressed. And if we do not acknowledge our grief, if we do not process it and validate it, so important for our grief to be witnessed and validated. If we don't do that, we may stay stuck. And then what happens is that people, in doing like the 11 principles of transformation, if they jump that second principle, the transformation is not really from the inside out. It's just, stays on the surface. That's why my latest book, Allow Me to Live My Grief and Heal from the Inside Out, it's based on the second principle, emphasizes the value of validating grief. And when I say validating grief, it doesn't mean that we're going to stay there. On the contrary, because as we learn to live the grief, we are able to move from suffering to honoring our loved one. Because this book is emphasized also the loss of a loved one. That is the purpose of the book, to help the griever. Is kind of like a heartfelt companion.
This is good. So basically, if we don't experience our grief, give us permission to feel it and express it and have it heard and validated, then when it gets stuck inside of us, it somatizes into tension and pain and all that terrible stuff. Well, thank you. I'm glad you've written the book. I love your book, by the way. It's full of wonderful information and valuable insights and principles and tools for doing just what you said, experiencing your grief, so that you can actually move through it, not be stuck in it, even though you've repressed it. Well, thanks for writing your book. Thanks for joining me today. And here's where you who are watching can get more information about Ligia, her books, and her work.